Welcome to theCUBE. My name is Lisa Maroney, and I'm back here again this week with my co-hosts and a couple of special guests with us. So just want to say hello to my co-hosts. Welcome back to theCUBE. And with us today are two special guests, Donald Van Dyne and Ashling Perham. And I'm going to hand this over to Ashling, and she can talk a little bit about Zone Fitness, her location in Chelmsford, and can share with us how her fitness and wellness facility here in Chelmsford can provide some great resource and help for area residents.
Thank you. Thanks for the invite today to the show. So Zone Fitness is a private training studio with small group classes. Most of our business is one-on-one personal training. We have 2 personal training rooms. I am actually sitting here in our group fitness room, which is actually just newly renovated just about a year ago now. Our classes are only about 4 to 6 people. So in these very different times, Zone Fitness is going to be hopefully a great resource for people that don't feel comfortable going back to a regular gym. Our training rooms, we can very easily socially distance, and I'm really looking forward to seeing where things can go for our studio. We're still training. I am doing all Zoom one-on-one sessions. We are doing Zoom classes, and it's going really well, and I'm really happy with how things have turned out for a fitness industry business during these different times. So thanks for the invite today.
It's great to have you. I know that we were part of your renovation and your reopening. We had helped you through the Chelmsford Small Business Grant a little bit. I've been to your facility a few times, and you've been doing a great job in that, outreach and providing very direct one-on-one and small group, as you're saying. So it's great to have you on the show, and looking forward to talking a little bit more about how we can adapt this during the quarantine, because that's the purpose of the Q, is to kind of answer questions during the quarantine. And in leading with that, there are many questions in regard to pickleball, specifically from some of the hosts here, but in general, we would love to hear more from Donald and how we can understand pickleball and what that's all about.
Absolutely. Well, Lisa, we both agree that as soon as everything begins to open up, you're the first lesson.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. All right. Fine.
All right, perfect.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Good.
So it's amazing. Pickleball has been around since 1965, and a lot of people scratch their head. How's that even possible? How's this sport been around since 1965, but yet we haven't really heard about it? Pickleball is about ping pong, badminton, and tennis coming together. And badminton is a smaller court. Badminton is the same size as a pickleball court. Tennis is a larger court. So it's basically, it's a combination of all these sports coming together into one now, what will be a professional sport. Back in 1965, out west in Bainbridge, which is outside of Seattle, they came up with this idea of pickleball. And the reason pickleball came about is because 2 families came together. They came home from the office in the summer. The kids were sitting around. It was a lazy day in summer. The kids didn't feel like doing anything. They gave them a badminton racket and said, go outside and play. So they went outside and play, but they didn't have all the necessary equipment to play badminton. So they started playing another game. And later, the 2 families came together over cocktails, and they started to develop this idea for a game which they call pickleball. The game pickleball, there's 2 stories. Either you believe one, which is named after a dog, or the second one, which is named after a pickle boat, which is hence pickleball. So pickle boat is you take all those rowers that are not in the main boat and you throw them in the last boat, and that's how you got a pickle boat. So then it's all about all sports coming together, and that's pickleball. Pickleball is actually really becoming on the forefront in the last, say, 5 years. There is a U.S. Open, much like tennis, for pickleball, and that started about 4 years ago. It's played down in Naples, Florida, and that's why you have a lot of people that in the winter they go down to Naples, so they are very familiar from the New England area about pickleball. Pickleball started off in the West and is working way east. So if you go to California, of course, you go to the state of Washington, they know about it. You go to Arizona, they have national tournaments. It's becoming a big deal, pickleball. It's so easy to play. What makes it so attractive to so many people is so easy to play. Anybody can play pickleball, and it's so affordable. So this is a pickleball paddle right here. It measures 16 inches by 8 inches. So it's 16 by 8, and this is your pickleball. It's like a wiffle ball, okay? And all you do is you go like this. It's so easy to play. This is your pickleball court back here. So from this line to that line is 44 inches. From this line to this line is 20. So the full court is 20 by 44. If you only take, this is the net here. If you take this half here, it measures 440 square feet.
So Donald, are you saying, from looking at that chart, are you saying like it could be me and Jen versus Megan and Karen? Is it doubles? Is it singles?
Oh yeah, bring it.
And,
Bring it.
Yeah.
So what happens is typically today is 4 people that are playing pickleball. They do play singles, but it's mainly for the younger players because there's a lot happening in this area here.
And another thing I'm thinking is that pickleball is, it looks like, well, what you're saying, the combination of badminton, ping pong, and tennis, that's a lot of agility and strength and a lot of different types of things going on with reflex and all of those types of things. And I'm in my mind as I'm listening and watching, I think some of what Zone Fitness has been doing provides a little bit of what those abilities, and I know anybody can play, and I'm wondering how that works, how Zone Fitness can work into what the pickleball court to be one of those standout pickleball players, maybe.
No, absolutely. Because a lot of what they're doing at Zone Fitness has to do with balance and coordination and muscle strengthening. And you can elaborate on that, and then I'll pick it up from there, how pickleball would relate.
So Ashling, can you kind of contribute to what your training does and how that relates to other types of sports and pickleball and just in general and also I'd like to just kind of think about how pickleball can be for families and all ages too.
Well, I can definitely tell you, I actually have a client who's an avid pickleball player. And, one of the things, especially for pickleball or tennis or badminton or any of those things, is definitely going to be core strength. And, a nice strength core, to have that really makes a lot of stuff easier. And one of the things that I do focus a lot on here at Zone Fitness is my clientele is definitely more from the mid 30s to honestly late 60 range. And we have a lot of people who come to us with some sort of injury, or they've gone through, some surgery and they need to figure out how to work out safely. And one of the really big things about what I like to do here is strength training. We do a lot with dumbbells, and we have functional trainer machines, which you actually can't see from this view, but building muscle is just one of those things where it's going to help you no matter what you do down the road. And like I said, also really core strength is also super important. The classes that we also offer are definitely more cardio based, but as far as strength training, Donald can go on about how many bicep curls and triceps and shoulder exercises he might be doing to make sure that his arms have enough strength to hold it up and keep hitting that paddle back and forth. But I definitely am huge believer of strength training, weightlifting, and that is one of the really big things that we do here at Zone Fitness.
So Donald, how does that relate to what the skills and abilities are on the court? I know, it's pretty adaptable for us, but curious to know, aside from the paddle, the ball to me looks like a wiffle ball. It must be kind of similar, but.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. So any thoughts about how, the strength and abilities or any of that connects?
So I like to tell all my students, because I am a certified coach, I like to tell all my students that the pickleball shot starts from the ground up. And as you just mentioned, the core is key to everything. Pretty much everything that you're going to do in life all starts at the core. So you need to make sure you have a strong core. So if a pickleball starts at the ground up, that means footwork is essential. It doesn't necessarily mean that you need to be able to run a marathon. It does mean, though, you need to be able to pick up your feet and move them and move them. That's basically it. And that's why pickleball is very attractive for, like, say myself, I used to play tennis. I grew up playing tennis, played tennis in college, and I reached a certain age and I realized, that court's looking pretty big now. So I figured pickleball court, you got one side of the court is only 20 by 22. I think I can move in that area. And you have two people moving in that area. So if we have a court that's only 20 feet wide, I'm only responsible for 10 feet of it, right? And I move with my partner. So there's a lot of coordination that happens. Again, that's why anybody can play pickleball. Anybody can play pickleball. It's affordable and it's easy to learn. I can teach somebody to play pickleball in one lesson. And typically what happens is you have rec players that start beginners, they go intermediate, and then you have advanced players. I work with all level of players. So if one person is preparing for a tournament, they're advanced players. If someone's just new to the game, they're just picking up this paddle for the first time, I go through, I show them how to hold the paddle. I'll show them how to swing a forehand, how to hit a backhand. I'll show them all the necessary shots. There is a shot in pickleball that's just particular to pickleball. It's called a dink. And that is when everybody's up at this area here, outlined in red, and they're just dinking the ball over the net, this being the net right here. From the net to this red line is only 7 feet. So everybody, the goal is to get up in this red box here. So you have one player here. These are my feet, which are like players.
Okay.
So you bring everybody up here and you get them into this non-volley zone. This is called the non-volley zone. You get them all up in here, right here. And now you're just moving a ball all around, and it's called dinking. Anytime you hit into this non-volley area, also called a kitchen, it's called dinking. And this is where the game is played. And that is why anybody can play this game. So all you're doing is just covering this area here. I mean, I can't wait to get you out there, Lisa.
Yeah, right. Well, simple. What I think would be kind of fun is I'd love to hear from Megan and her brood of children of how she could entertain her family, maybe playing some pickleball out in the driveway, perhaps. You've got a whole team over there ready to go.
Have an entire team. I think that the biggest challenge for families right now is staying active. There's only so many times we can walk the dogs down the street. There's only so many times they can swing on the swing set with the park's closed and everything. It's tough. I think a game like this is amazing. It would be fun for the parents. It'd be fun for the kids. It sounds challenging, but it doesn't sound like it's going to be an intense amount of cardio where the kids are going to teeter out quickly. Like my 5-year-old is not going to have the stamina that my 15-year-old has. So this is awesome. And where do you play this?
So you can play it on any tennis court. All right. And this is how easy it is. You have portable nets. It costs $139. Okay. You can get chalk that you pick up at any hardware store, pick up some chalk, and you can chalk out the line. So I can go to a tennis court in Chelmsford and chalk out a pickleball court, put up a net, and I can have hours of fun with anyone. So that's why it's so affordable. Now, these paddles themselves, the paddles may cost, you can get a pickleball set for 4 paddles for $100. It comes with a ball. All right, it doesn't come with the net. So $139, another $100, $239, you're all set to play pickleball for hours.
And the surface area of that paddle looks pretty good. The chances of me making contact seems high.
Yeah.
Good point. So just wanted to kind of turn it over to Karen a little bit. I know Karen's got some worldly travels and always has some insight as the owner of Visiting Angels and a family in Chelmsford. Any thoughts about fitness during the quarantine, Karen?
Well, I think it's really important for everybody's mental health to get some kind of physical activity every day. And I love that Zone Fitness is having personal training sessions or classes online through Zoom that you can access, particularly for our senior community that is isolated at home. It's a way to get exercise without being outside and risking contact with other people. And I believe that that kind of workout can be done at any level, even like I'm sitting on my family room sofa, quite cozy, the TV's in front of me, and look what I can do, right? I just have a simple weight that I can work with while I'm sitting here. If you don't happen to have a weight because you weren't prepared to be under lockdown for many, many, many weeks, you can also use cans of something. For today's purposes, I've brought a pickle jar. You can use that as a weight, but just anything that gets your body moving, I think, is really important. And there are a lot of places that are having Zoom connections, and Zone Fitness, our own personal Chelmsford place, is offering it. And it's great to support our local community. In terms of pickleball, I am very uncoordinated. Megan, I appreciated that big paddle surface, but the eye-hand coordination, I might even be able to connect with that. But who I've heard talking about pickleball are all my friends who were athletes, at one time, and still have that athletic mentality and still want to get out there, but the knees aren't working so well. Their quickness is not as good. They've retired their basketballs and their tennis rackets. And I've heard that pickleball is really a great thing to replace that kind of fitness. And so as you age, pickleball might be the way to go. And I think, for our seniors, it might be a great way to get everybody.
I think you're onto something, Karen. I have to agree with you. And I'm curious to hear some comments from my coworker, who I can't tell if she's going to be like my adversary or my teammate. I can't quite figure out what this is going to become. But any thoughts in regard to fitness during the quarantine in connection with community services?
Yeah, I think, so first of all, Donald, I have to say that I think probably every great sport in history was invented over cocktails. So it sounds like pickleball is no exception to that rule. And so there's no way that it couldn't be a hit and a success. And Lisa, I'm very happy to join forces with you on the same side of the net. But if we happen to find ourselves on opposite sides of the net, then, you might have a little trouble there, but I've never played. But I was a racquetball player in my day, so I have a little bit of coordination with hitting something with a racket. But yeah, I mean, it's been so challenging, right, to try to stay physically active during this quarantine, particularly with all of the gyms closed. I mean, I'm a big gym goer in the wintertime. When the weather's nice, I prefer to be outside, but in the winter, with the gym closed, it's been difficult. And so I've been doing a lot of stuff like Karen with, using weights inside. And I have a pretty decent set of stairs in my house that sometimes I'll run up and down, and lots of yoga, because that's really easy to do inside. But now that the weather is getting good and we can get outside, I think there are so many more opportunities to be able to, get physically active. And I know people are out on the rail trail and they're using that. They're running and they're biking and they're walking their dogs and things like that. And I happen to be an avid hiker, so I love to get into the woods. And there's really almost no better way than to be physically distant from folks than being, out in the middle of the woods. But yeah, as far as community service goes and remaining active, I know we talked a couple weeks ago about community gardens, and certainly, gardening may not come up as your first thought when it comes to exercise, but it can be pretty physically demanding, particularly if you are bending and lifting and tugging and, shoveling or raking or hoeing. It's a lot of different muscle groups that are working. I think, you use a lot of core strength in gardening. And so we have the community gardens here in Chelmsford, and there's a couple of plots over in South Chelmsford on heading towards Acton off of 27 that are specifically dedicated to growing produce to help our needy families. That produce is going to go to the food pantry. So definitely ways that we can combine physical activity and community services here in Chelmsford.
And I think that's a great segue to talking about just overall health and wellness, emotional, physical, and that it's very easy to, just let that priority fall to the wayside. But very soon after, you realize how important it is. So any thoughts, Donald, of like how do people get started? I know there's a lot of rules. You've already put out some vocabulary. I'm wondering if there's going to be a quiz at the end of this that I'm not going to pass. But because you provide coaching and our courts are under construction still, like how would we get started with something like that?
You can basically, all you have to do is actually couple things. I want to show you all. I made up this contact, which you might be able to see maybe, hopefully. The top one is USAPA, and you can reach them at usapa.org, okay? And that's the Pickleball Association. The next one, this one here, is the Pickleball, get this, Pickleball Channel. It's all things pickleball. So if you're curious to see how pickleball is played, you can go to the Pickleball Channel, and again, you can see all things pickleball. It'll go through all the pros because there are pros in pickleball. You can check out and see how they play. There's training videos. There's a whole bunch of things on Pickleball Channel. And then, of course, the last one is Pickleball D3, which is at pickleballd3.com, which is my website for training. If you're interested in learning more about pickleball, all you have to do is give me a call or visit my website. I'm more than happy to come out and work with you, Lisa, which we're going to do as soon as we can.
Okay.
And if you're interested in lessons, we can do that. I do want to encourage everyone, because the last 8 weeks we have been indoors, and a lot of people have not been outdoors, and we've all been idle. We've probably watched a little bit too much Netflix, or maybe ate some of our favorite food, a little bit too much of it. All right, there is an element of physical activity to pickleball. So we need to make sure as we move back in, transition back in to getting back out and being active again, we got to be very careful and work up to that point where you're able to go at full speed.
Right.
So
Right.
I would encourage that for everyone.
I think that's maybe where Ashling can come in, right?
Yeah.
To help people try to get up to speed and get into pickleball shape.
Well, one thing I can say about quarantine workouts is that I have not worked out this much in years. We are doing live virtual classes. We have one class a day. Tonight's class actually is at 6. I did a 12 o'clock class, but we also have a 6 o'clock class tonight, which is a free class that I'm offering to anyone that would like to join. It's a Tabata class. It is just a body weight class. It is family friendly. But one of the big things that I have found during the quarantine is that I get up, as you can see, I'm in my studio. I come here, I teach my classes, and moving my body and working out every day, getting my heart rate up, sweating a little bit has really been mentally a huge beneficial factor for me. Being a business owner, I've been a little bit stressed out, and working out with my clients who I consider really to be family, and us all working out together has just been like this really great feeling for me. So with that said, moving our bodies is just key at this point. And like Donald said, we can't just kind of leave quarantine and all of a sudden think that we're going to be back to normal. But we offer an array of different classes. I have our live little virtual class schedule right here. It is actually on our website. It's on our Facebook page, our Instagram page. And, I'm trying to make it really accessible. I know some financial issues have come up for a lot of people, including some of my clients who are not working right now. And I want people to move. I want them to feel good about themselves. I want them to know that if they worked out today, that's their win for the day and that they're going to feel better. So I am offering free classes to anyone who is in need and needs that kind of mental release, because sometimes working out can be a mental release as well. And May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So I'm trying to bring the physical aspect into that as well. And, quarantine has been hard. And for us showing up and doing our work and getting our workouts in, I just keep reiterating to my clients that we can do hard things and we're going to make it through this. And the Zone Fitness family and the community here We've really been close together, and I really want to welcome anyone into that family that might need that. And being a personal training studio, I have a feeling I might be able to open a little bit sooner than regular gyms, just because social distancing is very, very easy for us to do here. At any given time, there's like maybe 3 or 4 of us in the studio. So it's just a different time, and I'm just hoping to be there and to welcome anyone in the community that would like to get more physically active and fit. Maybe Donald and I can actually we can do like an outdoor little boot camp to get your pickleball players ready.
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. We might have to
Sign
make
me
that
up.
happen. Yeah, we might have to make that happen. It's all been like very good info, really exciting. I think, as we said, you know, exercise is a key component to overall emotional, social wellness, and it's good to know that we're all doing our part and just sharing information, trying to be helpful for each other and others in need. And so the thought was to bring this show together today to talk about fitness and wellness during the quarantine, but it really does kind of lend a hand into just a lifestyle change and being adaptable, making fitness and wellness a priority, whether it's through pickleball or through fitness in the gym or just staying active. And I think that just gives you a tendency to be more mobile and adaptable and just trying new things, meeting up with friends on a hike, you know, you get into these habits that maybe you just do the Netflix thing and end up with your favorite snack every night instead of just having it as a special Friday night thing. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or something like that. But trying to change that up and seek out new ways and new options for fitness and wellness. And any last words from anybody as we sign off for this show today? Any last comments or questions?
I have a free class tonight for anyone who wants to join. It's at 6 o'clock. If anyone would like to come try the class, it is every Monday night. I've been offering that free class for anyone that I said likes to join. It's family friendly. You don't need anything with you. So.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate that, and be well. And I'll see you soon.
Thanks, guys.
Okay.